And hello, universe. I am Jeff Mack, Dark Lord. You might know me from my books. Um, I Hate Your Prophecy and There and Never Ever Back Again. You might know me from Evil Expo. You might have no idea who I am. Trust me, sometimes I have no idea who I am. Now, for those of you not familiar with this series, I am taking Peter's Evil Overlord list, which you can Google. It's by Peter Ensbach. And I am going over why various parts of it are just misinformation that are completely wrong. And that is part of why this will be perhaps the shortest video in this series, because I have to admit, I have no argument with this one. Really? None at all. And this may be the only rule with which I don't have a problem. And this is rule number 6. Quote, I will not gloat over my enemy's predicament before killing them. And for those of you who saw my last video, it was about, is shooting too good for your enemies? Peter's rule says that shooting is not too good for your enemies. In other words, if you capture someone, don't keep them around. If they're an enemy, and you're a villain, get rid of them. And I pointed out there were lots of reasons for keeping people around it, and that outside of fiction, really, people very rarely escape deep, dark, dank dungeon oubliettes. It's extremely unlikely and unusual. But in this case, it goes exactly the opposite way. And I can make this point, folks, for those of you who are having a busy day, I can make this point in less than 2 minutes. Time me if you'd like. There is something probably fun in it, but unless you're the kind of supervillain who lives in a world where you know that you're going to get out a lot, like maybe you're in Arkham, which apparently gets broken into every other day, choose some other form of gratification. Choose some other way to enjoy being a villain. Choose some other way to make your enemies miserable. Whatever you do, no matter how certain you are that they won't get out, don't spend time gloating. And in gloating, I strongly suspect that there's a hint of monologuing. For those of you who don't know the term, monologuing is when a fictional character, usually a villain, gives a bunch of exposition about their plans. In 3 hours, I will take control of the gigantic skeletal hand at the center of the earth and bring up a bunch of magma to cover the entire earth with soot. Don't do this. There's never a good reason for this. Now, I've talked a lot about monologuing and some of the benefits of monologuing, but really, gloating over your prisoners is just silly. And it's silly in pretty much every direction. Like, the best possible result you can get, assuming you're doing it for real, obviously you could give someone misinformation. I think I brought that up before, but let's interpret this rule strictly. Let's assume that they're saying, don't monologue, don't give exposition, don't stand over your supposedly fallen victims / enemies / antagonists, gloating and smiling about it. Do you know what the time is to enjoy the defeat of your enemies? After enemies are definitely defeated and you're somewhere far away. That's a good time. When you have cashed in your Swiss bank account and you are lying on a beach somewhere tropical under 4 sets of assumed names and with a bunch of plastic surgery, then you can think about how lovely it was, if you're so inclined, if this is the thing that you like, how lovely it was to have your worst adversaries helpless and then hopefully destroyed. That's a good time. Standing over them, no matter how unlikely it seems they'll escape, no, because this is exactly the wrong time to give them any kind of edge. And all you're doing is giving your enemies an edge while giving yourself nothing more than a moral boost. And you can get moral boosts from lots of things that aren't dangerous. So, folks, I usually talk for about 15 minutes, but here, I got to admit, I don't actually disagree with the Evil Overlord list. Don't gloat over your enemy's predicament before killing them. Just, take care of the problem and be done with it. And then, if you really want to gloat later. I am Jeff Mack. You can look up my books on Amazon. You can check out our event at evilexpo.com. And if you're seeing this somewhere where you can like, share, subscribe, spindle, mutilate, whatever else, feel free to do all those things. Thank you for your time, and I will speak to you all later.